right, there we go. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm just going to give it a moment while everyone's getting connected here. It looks like we have quite a few people coming into the chat, or into the meeting, I guess I should say. And here we go. Okay, so again, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for joining us today. This is our second Fresno City College campus training on Adobe Sign. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Megan Elam. I am the executive assistant for Don Lopez, our vice president of instruction. And presenting with me this afternoon, we have Alex Wrigley. He is our Adobe Sign customer success manager. We also have Susie Nitchell, our professional development coordinator. She's going to be assisting us with our chat. Please utilize the Q&A function moving forward for any questions that you might have during this presentation, and we will do our best to get everything answered for you. We also have 2 interpreters with us today. They will be pinned. You can also pin them on your own screen as well. With us today, we also have our admission and records representatives. We have Rosemary, and I believe Harold will be joining us as well. Today's focus is on Adobe Sign and the process of utilizing the form through Adobe Sign, not necessarily on the form itself. But if you happen to have questions on the admissions and records form, in that process, we do have admissions and records representatives on standby to answer those questions through the Q&A feature. And now that I have said all of that, and it looks like a lot of people have joined in, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Alex to explain a little bit about what exactly Adobe Sign is.
Thank you for the intro, Megan, and good afternoon, folks. Alex Wrigley here. I'm the Adobe Sign Customer Success Manager for the Foundation of California Community Colleges. And so I'm delighted to be here today to do some training with y'all. Me and Megan are going to be going back and forth with the demo. So I'm going to start off and share a little bit about what Adobe Sign is. And what it is a tool that helps folks collect electronic signatures. It's a tool that allows you to replace paper-based and manual workflows, right? With Adobe Sign, you can easily send, sign, track, and manage signature workflows. It is a tool that allows you to essentially work wherever you need to on any device. And so in that way, it really truly makes you a remote worker and allows you to, really speed up and manage your workflows. And now I'm going to pass it back to Megan, who's going to show you how to get into Adobe Sign.
Thank you, Alex. And give me one moment here, as my screen share did not want to cooperate. Okay, so as Alex stated, I'm going to go through with you all how you would navigate to the Adobe Sign website. The very first thing that you're going to want to do is go to our Fresno City College website. From the Fresno City College website, if you navigate to our faculty and staff page, once you're on the faculty and staff page, you're going to want to scroll down to Quick Links. On Quick Links section under Common, you'll see right here we have added in a shortcut to the Adobe Sign. If you click into that shortcut, that's going to take you to this page. So this is one of the home screens for the Adobe Sign website. In the upper right-hand corner, you're going to see that you have the option to sign in. Once you've clicked into that link from the faculty and staff page and you click into the sign in screen on the upper right-hand corner, that's going to take you to the Adobe Sign login page that you're seeing here. Once you're on this screen, you're going to want to put in your Fresno City College email address. For most of us, that is firstname.lastname@fresnocitycollege.edu. If you have transitioned over from another college or if you have an SCCCD email, those are going to be the emails that you want to utilize. By using your work email, you have a lot more access to the features in Adobe. Once you've inputted your email into that screen, As soon as you click into the password function, it's going to prompt you with a please wait load screen. This is going to jump you straight to our single sign-in page. So let me go ahead and demonstrate that for you. As you can see, I'm going to click into that field. You see the please wait pop up, and it's going to take you straight to our single sign-in. This page should look pretty familiar to most of you. Once you're on this page, you're going to want to use your initials and the 3-digit username that you would normally sign in with, your normal password, and then make sure that you have the employee button selected. And as soon as you've done all of that, you can go ahead and click login. And as soon as it loads, sorry, my internet's a little slow today, that's going to take you to our Adobe Sign home screen. Now, from this point, I do just want to remind you all that this session is being recorded. So if you can always reference back to that, we will be sending out the YouTube link. It is going to be uploaded to our professional development YouTube channel. So you can always reference back to this recording as well as the other 2 presentations that we're doing. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and switch it back to Alex, who's going to walk us through how to navigate through the home screen, how to send a file, and how to manage everything.
Thank you, Megan. All right, folks, I'm going to pause my video just for the sake of the recording. But now that we have logged into Adobe Sign, we land here on the home page. From the home page, you're going to see a lot of quick access to a lot of the different features and functions found in Adobe Sign. If we start in the upper left here, the home tab, if we're on another page, this will always bring us back to this page here, hit the home tab. If we hit send tab, that's going to bring us to our one-off or ad hoc send environment. Click the manage tab. The manage tab will bring us to where all of our agreements and assets in Adobe Sign are managed. Our reports tab, this allows users to create usage reports and get a little more insight into how the tool is being used. And because I'm an account admin, I have this extra tab here for account, but regular users won't see that. I'm going to head on home. And I do want to point out what we're looking at is the new experience for Adobe Sign. Some of you may have the classic or legacy version, and the layout looks a little bit different. This is kind of the updated, refreshed look that's a little more slick, a little more intuitive for newer users. And so eventually all of you will be on this experience moving forward. So if you see a difference between yours and this one here, that's the reason. If we move our focus to the center of the screen, we're going to see request signatures, that big blue button there. And that will also bring us to the same area as if we hit the send tab. If we hit start from library, that's where our library of templates and or workflows, if they are created for the organization, will be stored. If we move our gaze upwards a bit, we'll see that we have in progress, waiting for you, and events and alerts. If I hit in progress, this will bring me over to the manage tab. It's the same link, and we'll open up the in progress folder. I'll show that to you guys in a little bit. Same thing for waiting for you. This will bring us into the manage tab or manage area, and we'll open up the waiting for you folder. And those will be workflows that you're participating in. You might be a signer or an approver. And so the system lets you know, hey, don't forget about us. And then events and alerts, if I click on that one, will bring us to this recent notifications page. And as you can see here, there's lots of different events and alerts that the system is making us aware of. As an example, I canceled an independent consultant agreement yesterday at 12:41. So that is events and alerts. I'm going to go ahead and hit the home tab and come on back here. And I guess what I'll do next is we will take you through the experience of sending a form. So I'll go ahead and hit the request signatures button. And what I like to tell people is if you're comfortable with setting up an email and adding an attachment and sending that off, the experience of setting up a Adobe Sign signature workflow should come pretty easily. And so, what we're going to do is we're going to add our recipients in our workflow. And I'm going to send this over to Megan for signature. And the system remembers that I actually sent Megan a request for signature last week when we did a different demo. So she's populated in there. I'm going to go ahead and click on her name. To the left here, we're going to see this icon of a pen, and there's a drop down there. And not all the participants or recipients that we send a form to necessarily have to sign. They may be approvers or acceptors or form fillers. These are different roles that participants in a workflow can take on. So just keep that in mind. If we scroll a little bit over here to the right, we'll see add a private message. If we have multiple people on this workflow, let's just add Jane in here. We can add Tom in for a 3 recipient workflow. I can add a private message for each recipient. And that's going to be a little bit different than the main message that goes here in the message area. This message, whatever I populate in here, hi, please sign, will be visible to every participant, and this goes out in the please sign email. And we'll see that in a little bit when Megan takes over and shows you the signing experience. All right, just for sake of simplicity in the demo, we'll just keep it to a 1 recipient workflow, just Megan. I'm gonna go ahead and add a file now. I'm gonna choose that locally, and I'm gonna use the grade review petition form. And once I've added that, I see it here under files. Adobe Sign will also take the name of that file and populate it here into the message header. So I can say, please sign the grade review petition. And I can always edit this if necessary. All right, now that we've added our recipient, we've added our file, now I can take some additional steps to add a completion deadline. If I check that box, I can add a 2-day expiration. And so Adobe Sign is showing us that after, let's see, this time on March 26th, the form or the workflow will expire and the link will no longer be valid. So even if somebody tries to access it, they won't be able to complete the signing process. I can additionally set a reminder so that my recipients are reminded, at these frequencies, every day, every week, etc. So these are the additional sending options here on the sending page. And folks, I just want to point out, anytime you see a question mark in Adobe Sign, if you click on it, it's going to bring you more information about the options available. So we just covered completion deadline, reminders, and well, not recipient image, but that gives you a little more information. We have one up here. All right. I'm going to pause there and see if there's anything in the chat, any questions before I move on. Take a look in here.
So one of the questions that we got, Alex, was about sending the email, or I'm sorry, sending the Adobe file to a student. And I kind of want to add on to that on sending it to someone outside of our maybe who's not a fcc.edu email address.
Yeah, no problem. Happy to address that. So Adobe Sign works for any user or for any person that has an email address and a browser. Those folks, the only people who need to have an Adobe Sign account are folks who are sending forms for signature. People who are receiving these forms to sign only need to have, again, an active email address and a browser that they can open up the form and sign in. Really good question. All right, now that we've set up our send, I'm going to hit next, and that's going to bring us into the authoring environment in Adobe Sign. The authoring environment is where we can add fields like signature fields and text input fields onto our form so that we can capture information and signatures. Taking a look at this grade review petition form, it's already got some fields laid out on it. I just need to make sure that there's a signature field. In this scenario, I'm going to set Megan up as the student signature. So I'm going to double click in here and I'm going to choose a different field type. Actually, I need to delete this one. Now that we have a space for the student signature, that's Megan, I'm going to come over to signature fields in the right-hand column and drag and drop this signature field right onto the form. And if I go to the corner, I can grab it and then I can size it for the appropriate space on the form. And you'll notice that there's a red asterisk here in the upper left-hand corner. That shows that this is a required field. None of the other fields here have that. And so this is the only field that would need to be filled out in order to complete this form and the workflow. I want to take a look at some additional fields that we have in Adobe Sign. Some of you may have access to what we call digital signatures. I'm going to just kind of drag that over here onto the form right here at the top. I want to point out that digital signatures are not required in about 99% of all higher education workflows. These are very specific signature types that require a certificate from a third party. And again, these are not required for most signature workflows that you're going to encounter. It's a type of signature that creates a high degree of confidence, but also creates some complexity around using them. And so again, you're going to want to stay away from digital signatures and only focus on the electronic signature type. All right, now that we pointed that out, scrolling back down, we've got signature fields for initials. We can add a stamp. Down here under signer information fields, we can grab a title field, company field, email, date, etc., and drag that right here onto the form. Let's grab this date field here, size that up. All right. And I do want to point out that these fields have different colored triangles or flags in the upper right-hand corner. And this indicates that in the case of the student signer here, that looks like a green flag in the upper right-hand corner for both the signature field and for the date field. That is different than the other fields that show a blue flag. If I double click in here, that I can see that the field is assigned to anyone. All right, so that means anybody who's participating in this workflow can fill it out. I can do it as a pre-filler in the workflow if I needed to, or if I had additional folks in the workflow, that field would be open to them. So I just wanted to highlight that. As we scroll down to additional data fields, we'll scroll down here a little bit on the form, we'll see that we have text input fields. The text input field is the real workhorse of all the fields in Adobe Sign. It's the one that can be customized. And so when I double click into the field, it brings up the customization menu. Let's say I want to make a social security field out of this. I can come up here and add social security. That is the name of our field now. I can assign it to a specific participant. I can make it required. So now we see the red asterisk. I can mask field data. When you mask field data, you are essentially covering that field with asterisks, and that field becomes encrypted, and only folks who have access to take out form data would be able to get information in that field. That keeps people's private information protected and secure. So that's, again, mask field data. That's an important one. We can make a field read only, and we can add information in there so that our recipient sees whatever information you want to add. We can add a tooltip, and a tooltip is displayed when someone points their mouse cursor over that field, social security number is going to pop up, guiding the signer as to what kind of information is being asked for. As I scroll down here in the customization menu, I have this validation dropdown. And what we see here are validations to capture more accurate information. So as an example, if I needed to capture a US style zip code, I can add that validation and it's going to force me to put in a US style zip code. In this case, we want to use a social security number or a US social security number. And that's going to force our signer to input 9 digits, no special, characters or letters. And so it helps us get good information. I'm going to pause there on the customization menu and cancel that out. I'm going to go ahead and just delete it. But I want to point out some additional fields. We have checkboxes. We have radio buttons. A radio button group is if you're going to force a selection between, like, let's say there's a yes or no option on the form, you'd want to use a radio button group, and that will force a selection. Versus a checkbox, you can have as many checkboxes as you need, and all of them can be selected. Oops. And scrolling up here, we have over here a drop-down field. This is really cool. Double click in there. Really easy to add options into our drop-down field. And then under more fields, we have a file attachment field, which is kind of neat in higher ed. Let's say you need to collect additional documentation from a student or faculty. You can add the file attachment field, and folks can then add additional files into that field, and it gets bundled along with the form that they're signing. So I'm going to pause there and see if there's any questions in the chat pod around the authoring environment. Vicky asks if students can sign on their phone, and the answer is yes. We are definitely mobile, sign and send. Let's see. And then Vicky also asks if they're, I think we're answered there. All right. All right, I think this form is ready to be sent out. Megan, are you ready to receive this? I'm going to go ahead and hit send.
Yeah.
All right. Fire away. I get confirmation here that the form has been successfully sent out. I can go ahead and send another, or I can hit manage this, and that will take me into the manage tab so that I can take additional actions. But I'm going to pause. Let Megan have the demo back.
All righty. So I just received the email, and what I want to do at this point is, for those of you who might not be as familiar with what the emails from Adobe look like, I want to go ahead and show you from the email perspective. Hold on one moment here. My screen share is not wanting to cooperate. I just want to display for you what those emails look like.
So it looks like Megan's having some issues with her internet, so she's gonna try to reconnect. If you'll just be patient with us. And we thank you for your patience.
All right, folks, I think there's a learning opportunity here. I think Megan just shared that she did not receive the email. Susie, can you confirm that?
That she did
Okay,
not receive.
I'm back. I'm sorry, my internet kept cutting out. No, it didn't give me the email to my inbox, which is strange, but I do have it in my Adobe Sign. So I can go ahead and take over screen sharing again to show that portion. And then once I get the email in my inbox, I can kind of show you all what it looks like from there. So sorry about that. That's the fun part of live demonstrations is you get technical difficulties. But since I know how to go into Adobe and I know how to see my home screen, I can see that I do have one file here waiting for me. So even though I didn't get that email, I'm still able to access that file. So if I click into that section from the home screen, you can see that I have this document right here. And if I click into it and open it, so now I'm able to review the document. Once and I do have some other options right here. I'm able to download a PDF of it. I can download an audit report that's going to give me every detail since it was created by Alex, all the way to anyone who's opened it or viewed it or done anything to it. If I hit hide the agreement, I won't be able to. I'll have to go back into my my files and unhide it in order to be able to do anything with it. If I wanted to share this agreement out with someone else so that they're able to see it and all the details of it, I would click share and add their emails in there. And I can also add notes to it. Right here under recipients, I'm able to see everyone who it was sent to. So you are able to send to multiple recipients. So for example, this could be sent out for a student. As you saw, Alex went through, how to assign the different boxes to people. So those boxes could be assigned to the students. Then these ones for the instructor section could be assigned to the instructor, to the dean, and then all the way back to admissions and records if we needed to. At this point, if I click view and sign right here on the right-hand side, if my internet doesn't go out on me again. Okay, so you can see I got the message here that says, hi, please sign. And that does go away, but if you click into it, you can bring it back up. And you can see that it does have all of these fields here. And if you hit start, that's going to take you through all of these fields. But if you notice, there's only certain ones that have this red asterisk. The ones with the red asterisk are the ones that I would have to sign. Those are the required fields. So if I go through the next, it's going to take me through every single field, even these ones that I don't necessarily need to fill out. So what I want to do is right here in this upper right corner, I want to go ahead and click next required field. And that jumps me to the one that I actually need to sign and the ones that I need to address. If I wanted to add more details into these, I definitely could. But this box here is the only one that was assigned to me. So that's the only one that I'm required to do. And if the attach file feature that Alex went over, for example, if a student had backup documentation or an instructor had backup documentation for this grade review petition that they wanted to attach, that box would need to be on there so that they can attach it to the file. So I'm going to go ahead and click here to sign, and you can see that my signature automatically popped in. So I have a signature on file with Adobe so that I can do this in seconds, as you can see. There are different features. You can set that up very easily, and we can certainly go over that here in a moment to show you how to make that signature. And then you're also able to just type in your signature or hand sign it on your phone very quickly.
Megan, can I pause you?
Yeah.
I was going to ask you not to actually sign it. I wanted to point out to our audience that there are also additional options in the upper left-hand corner. But if you want to go through the signature types here.
Yeah, well, do you want to do that first?
Yeah.
Okay, so this options field right here in the upper left is the one that Alex was referring to, and I'll let you go ahead.
Yeah. So folks, the alternative options available as a signer are going to be found in that upper left drop down under options. It gives you the ability to read the agreement. if you're the wrong person and you really need to delegate signing to another authority, there's that option listed as well. Sometimes you need to decline signing. And so there's an option there to decline to sign and provide a reason that's captured and it alerts folks in the workflow now. There are times when a wet signature may be required. And so Adobe Sign allows you to print out the form, sign it manually, and then scan and upload it back into this electronic workflow. And then they can continue on. And then if you need to, there's some buttons to clear out document data so you can start over, also to view history and download the PDF. Megan, if you want to just step them through the signature field again, and then you can, oh, actually, I was going to say, don't sign it. Oh, actually, no, I'm sorry. Go ahead and sign it so the folks can see what that looks like.
Yeah, so, and just to confirm, my screen is still, yes, okay, it's still good.
Yep.
So you can see I have my signature set up already in Adobe Sign. So I clicked into the field and it popped right up for me. If I, for some reason wanted to, I could click into that signature box and it'll prompt you to type your name. You can draw it right here using your mouse. What I did is I took a picture of my signature and I uploaded it and saved it into my Adobe profile. Or you can create your signature on your phone. So right here, it will let you, if you could put in your cell phone number, it'll send you a text and you'll be prompted to, input your signature right on your phone. It just takes just a quick moment. It's very easy to do. But those are the different, if you didn't have your signature set up, it would prompt you for those different features right there. And you can always, if you're not happy with it, you can clear it and kind of keep going until you get one that you're happy with and that you want to move forward with. I think, did I cover all of those, Alex?
Yeah, looks good.
Okay. And then the most important thing is once you have filled out all of your required fields, you have everything there, you need to make sure to click this button down at the bottom here. You see this blue button that says click to sign. If you weren't to click that button and you just close out of this, you have not signed your document. You have to make sure to click this. It'll process the document. And I don't know why that happened.
I'm sorry, Megan. I forgot in my previous demo today, I set up a redirect after the signing experience. And so if you give me 1 second, I will resend that your way without the redirect.
No worries. In the meantime, I did get the actual initial email. So normally this happens right after you hit send. We'll all get the email that shows, it'll look like this. So you can see that they say from Adobe Sign at adobesign.com. Sometimes they also say Echo Sign, but these are the actual emails. And you'll get the little button right here that says review and sign. And if you click into that field, that'll take you right here. It's going to say this document has already been signed, but we'll re-demonstrate this in just a moment here.
And Alex, while you're setting that up, Vicki has a question. Were you notified that Megan received the file?
No, I'm not notified of when she receives it. I am notified if she takes any action on it. For example, if she viewed it or if she declined it, I would see that in my Adobe Sign account. And so, all right, Megan, I am just firing off this new one to you. Should see that in your Sign account. And if you want to sign it one more time and show the folks what happens after you sign, the post-signing page.
Yeah, I just got it here. So let me re-demo that portion here. So as you can see, that was pretty quick from when Alex sent it. You receive the email. Normally that's how it goes, but we're all having a bit of internet issues today. So the email will look like this. You can download the pictures. Once you click into review and sign, it's going to jump you to the document. And you can see here that looks the same as whenever I go into it off of the website. And if I jump to that required field, click to sign, and click to sign, it's going to process the document. And then you get this confirmation page. So this is how you know you've actually finished doing your part and have fully signed the document. And then all parties get a notification email. So everyone who was CC'd on the document, who has actually sent the document, and the sender of the document will receive an email that states that that all parties have signed and the document is complete. And then it also has an attachment of the email as well. And I just got that, so let me show you. So this is that email. So you can see it has me and it has the email that Alex is using. And it says on here that, you know, every attached is the final agreement for your reference, and you're able to open up that document and you can see it's been signed. Alex, do you think that you could go over the where they can see that, you know, that the file has been viewed?
Absolutely. Yeah, let me take over the screen share. All right. I think we have a question by the way of Vicky, who asks, how do we know if a recipient has received a form? And so what we can do here is we can log into Adobe Sign. We can navigate over to the Manage tab. And in the Manage tab, I can see folders. We have a folder structure here. I can see what's in progress. Those are form or workflows out for signature. Things that are waiting for me. We covered this before. Forms that are completed, etc. And so I'm going to step into a completed folder here. I'm going to show the one that Megan just signed by highlighting the one here at the top. And if I scroll over to the right, I'm going to get, I have the ability to come down to the lower right-hand corner under activity, and I can see a audit trail essentially of what's occurred with my workflow, with my form. So I can see here that at 2:34 p.m. on March 24th, I created the form and workflow. This is the email address. I sent it out for signature to Megan. It shows her email address and date and time stamp. And so this is our proof that we actually got the form out. Now, we won't have any more visibility until the recipient, or in your case, the student, takes action. But I can see that Megan viewed it here. And then beyond that, she signed it. And so, you know, if the email address was bad, we would see that there would be a bounce back and that would be recorded here. But we can rest assured that she received it. Now, if it got diverted to like a junk folder or something like that, that happens occasionally. You may want to advise your recipients, you know, go please check your spam or junk folder just in case, because I show that it was sent out to your correct email address here. So that's actually a nice segue into how to manage all of your assets in Adobe Sign. And so let me head over to our in progress folder here. And again, these are forms and workflows still out for signature. And over here in the right-hand column, we're going to be presented with some additional options. If you see the pencil, that means it's an edit option. I set an expiration date here for this event waiver. And so if I click in there, I can set a new expiration date. So I can set that for a week from today, March 31st, save that. It now updates that workflow. I see what message I sent out. If I scroll down, I have more actions that I can take. I can open the agreement. I can manually remind all of our recipients here I can set an automated reminder at a specific interval. I can do it manually right now. I can notify specific folks in the workflow and add a message. So that's under reminders. I can cancel out the agreement here if I need to, and I can cancel it quietly, or I can notify everybody if necessary. Let me show you an audit report. And I'll zoom in here a bit. The audit report is what makes an electronically signed agreement enforceable in court, because it shows intent to sign, and that is intent is captured here in the audit trail. So we'll see when somebody has viewed it, when somebody has signed it. We'll get a date and timestamp. We'll also get an IP address. Because this one is actually still in progress, we don't have all that data yet. It hasn't been captured. But again, it does show intent. The system is secure. The process is encrypted. So we have integrity of the workflow as well. So these are things that are very important and make electronic signatures enforceable in court. So back to my Manage tab. Megan showed us that we could hide agreements. So if you're in your Manage tab area, you see hide agreement, that's going to hide it from your view. You're always able to recover hidden agreements by searching for them, and using the filter, you can check to display hidden content. So you never really lose that. I can share out this agreement and provide access. I could add notes for myself on the specific workflow here. I could download individual files just in case you set up a file attachment field and a student, provided some other transcript as an example, and along with their grade review petition. You would be able to download those individual files from this option here. One of the things I want to cover is uploading a signed document. So for forms that are workflows that are in progress, if somebody took that form, printed it out, and applied a wet signature, you could actually scan that document and upload it here and save it as the form in this workflow. And so that would kind of overwrite the electronic form going through the workflow. So that's how you do that there. Let me see. As I scroll further down, I see my recipient here, and I'm allowed here to edit. Let's see. Oh, that's identity verification. My apologies. If it's set up, you can sometimes replace the recipient here. And so I could change out Wrigley at Adobe and maybe put in Megan's email address as an alternate recipient, or change it all together. On this specific workflow, I sent it before I had those settings in place, so I'm not offered that option, but you might see that. All right, let's see.
Alex,
Yes.
Kaylon has a question on the expiration.
Yes.
When sending a document to multiple parties, is it possible to send an expiration date to just one of those folks?
No, it's a hard expiration for the entire workflow. Good question, though. All right, I'm going to scroll on over to the Waiting for Me folder here in the Manage tab. And high level, I sent this workflow, and it looks like that I added myself into the workflow as a participant. So what I can do is I can hit open. And Megan kind of reviewed this before when she logged into her Adobe Sign account and signed the form I sent. But this is essentially the same thing. I can come in here and I can take some actions on this. I can view and sign it. I can cancel. I can hide it. Oh, here we go. We have some recipients here. And in this case, for IOC Athlete Services, I can come in and add an alternate, or I can replace this recipient, wriglyadobe@gmail. So there are those options there. You guys have seen the signing process, so I will, oops. Completed, we've looked at that. Canceled, these are where your canceled agreements are going to reside. Expired. Draft, if there's a workflow or that you've been working on, you stepped away from it, you can always come back to it. It's going to be here in your draft folder. And then further down, you're going to see folders for templates, web forms, and MegaSign. These are other features and ways of delivering forms through Adobe Sign. It's not the scope of today's demo to go into that, but just know that once you guys get to that point, all your assets in Adobe Sign will be managed here on your Manage tab. So,
Alex, Evie wants to know, can old documents be deleted from the list of archived, expired, or completed?
yeah, so from here, in my archive folder, I can hide the agreement. Same with expired, I can come in and hide it. Yeah, and that way you're able to clean up your view. And so the forms, again, or these workflows are not truly deleted from the system, they're simply hidden. Deleting assets is actually up to the organization if they really want to purge that information. But it can be hidden from your account so that you have a cleaner view of all your active agreements. All right, let's see. We've talked about all the different statuses and options in the Manage tab. And so next I want to cover briefly the Reports tab. And all you do is click on the Reports tab, come on down here to the Create a New Report. And depending on your user level and access in the account, likely you'll just be an end user. You'll be able to run a report against your own usage in your account. So what I can do is I can hit last month. I've got some additional options here for what I can run a report against, but I can filter out by workflow or document, set some additional parameters here. I'll simply just hit run report, and then Adobe Sign returns to me this cool report, this graphical report. It shows my average time or my median time to complete a signature workflow is 42 minutes. I have a 64% completion rate in my workflows that I'm sending out. I see that I've sent out a total of 22, 4 have been canceled, 4 in progress, etc. So lots of cool metrics are delivered by the report and graphed by date. And that, in a nutshell, ladies and gents, is the Reports tab. And now I'll head on home. And that really covers most of what we had on today's agenda. So I'd like to pause now and open up Q&A. Looks like we still have an open question from Vicky. Shows, what if we have thousands of forms to send? Will that require a special training? And so without going too in depth, we do have an option in Adobe Sign called sending in bulk with MegaSign. And Vicky, I'm assuming that you're sending out the same form to many people. And so what this send in bulk feature MegaSign allows you to do is to upload a CSV file with all your recipient information, and then Adobe Sign will take that and send out whatever form you upload to everyone on that list, and it will manage capturing signatures and return a completed form back to you. So that's a sending in bulk with MegaSign. And I do want to take a moment to point out that In the upper right-hand corner where the question mark is, you'll see that there's a drop-down that displays the user guide and tutorials and release notes. If I click on tutorials, it will open up a new tab in your browser, and it's going to bring you trainings, video trainings for all the features and functions found in Adobe Sign. And it's a really good way to get trained up. For experienced users, you want to come and send a document in bulk with MegaSign. Vicky, you're going to want to check that out. Again, that's going to be found in the upper right-hand corner in the drop-down by the question mark, tutorials and user guides. Ed asks if we can create our own forms. So the answer is you can add forms into Adobe Sign and save them as reusable templates. And so once you do that, if you're, let's say you're in the HR group and you guys use an onboarding template, you want to send that out to a new hire, you're likely going to come over here and hit start from library, and then you're going to be presented with a folder structure here on the left. You're going to have access to templates and workflows. And then if I just need to use the template, I can come in here and there it is. There's my event waiver or my onboarding form, and hit start, and that spins up a new send. It attaches that template into the workflow here, and then I just have to add my recipients and add deadlines and reminders and messaging. So yes, you can create your own reusable documents, but that's going to be probably presented in a later training.
And I do want to add into that, Alex, that while yes, we do have the ability to create our own forms, we do have certain campus requirements that are requirements that are required for our forms to have, and we have to keep accessibility in mind. If there is a form that you're needing that you're not finding, please reach out to your department's administrative assistant, or please feel free to email me, and I'd be certainly more than happy to help you with that.
Thank you for clarifying, Megan. Appreciate that.
And it looks like we have all the questions answered.
Okay, well, if no one has any more questions, I do just want to say that I greatly appreciate everyone who was able to join us today. This session has been recorded, and we will be uploading it onto our professional development YouTube channel. So you will be able to reference back if you missed anything or had any questions or just needed to slow it down and refer back to it. We do have one more training coming up on the 29th at 11 o'clock if you'd like to join us again, or if you think of any questions in the meantime, please feel free to send me an email. I also do hold office hours on Thursdays from 2 to 3 o'clock. And again, feel free to email me if you'd like to jump into that. And that's pretty much all I had. It looks like we're wrapping up a few minutes early here today.
I just want to say thank you all for your time and attention, and best wishes on using Adobe Sign. And until our next training, take care.
All righty. Thank you, everyone.